Mute my mic.
Welcome, 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 ladies, gentlemen, germs, and geeks alike. We have a special episode of Queries in the Multiverse. We are joined, I am joined by your host, originally Jedi Master Tuck. I am filling in for him technically. And also, we are joined
Yeah,
by
I want to cruise.
Marie Wilson. How are we doing, Marie?
I'm great. Excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, of course, it is
Absolutely.
Don
Yes, definitely.
joining us from the high seas right now. He is joining us from a cruise he has been enjoying.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of the ocean, guys.
So, Marie, well, how about you? Where have you grown up?
Where? Just
Yes.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, where'd you grow up?
Yeah. I have spent most of my life in Alabama.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What part?
So, in Birmingham mostly, but I went to grad school at UA in Tuscaloosa. And so right now I'm actually moving to Tuscaloosa to live with my partner. So that has been an interesting transition, kind of moving from a bigger city where there, might be more opportunities to a smaller city. But I'm excited about being back in Tuscaloosa. I love it here.
Well, how long have you and your partner been together for?
Almost 3
Sure.
years.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I've just myself made a year with my significant other, and it's been a nice year together. So
Nice.
I imagine 3 years is a nice milestone together, and finally moving in together. I'm sure that's a nice experience and feeling.
Well,
Yeah,
you still want to move in after 3 years. That's a good sign.
right?
Sorry.
Like, I have had so many relationships where I've been like, okay, I've been with you for like 10 months and I just and I don't feel
Sure.
that way at all. So it's good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel like that's
Well, congratulations on that for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
I feel like that's the same way with me and my girlfriend right now. Normally, it's always been like you said, a bit like I may want to kill you at times, but with her, it's like, oh, this ain't that bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. It only took
Yeah.
me until my mid-30s to get there, so.
Right.
Well, at least you found it, and that's always great.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
for
What
sure.
really got you into like the nerdy stuff, whether it be, comics? I know you're huge into Star Wars, but like,
Yeah.
what really got you down the path of the nerd stuff?
Trying to think back. I mean, oh, I know. Okay, so
Okay.
the first real, I mean, of course, like I was born in 86, so when I was growing up, there was Jurassic Park and Men in Black and all the classic like awesome 90s sci-fi movies. And then but also growing up, my dad we would watch the original Dune all
Oh,
the
wow. Okay.
time. Like
Yeah.
the 80s movie.
Mm-hmm.
The David Lynch, like crazy, wacky Dune. And I just loved it. And he would actually show us we would watch the very end of it. Like I don't know how long maybe the last 10 minutes we would be watching a movie together, and then the movie would finish and he'd go, do y'all want to watch the last 10 minutes of Dune? And we'd all be like, yeah. And so we'd watch it all the time. And my dad's favorite part is when Alia, as this little bitty girl, says, why he is the Quizette's Hatterack. And then like the floor breaks open, and then like it starts raining, and it's like it's raining on Arrakis. And so that was probably my first real sci-fi love, was Dune.
Wow.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that one, to be very honest. I don't think I've ever seen the original Dunes.
Oh, really? Oh, it's just one.
It's just one, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's parts of it. There's one scene in particular that I literally cannot watch because it's so like graphically disturbing.
Really?
And they have the Harkonnens have these servants who have heart plugs. So a plug in their heart, and then the Baron, when he's just feeling, feeling a certain way, he'll pull the heart plug and they just bleed out. And it's so graphically disturbing. And that scene, I always have to be like, I can't, nope, and I let it go on. But the rest of
It's
it
been a while, but I definitely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. But the rest of it is amazing. I mean, personally, I prefer the Sci-Fi Channel's miniseries, and my favorite is Children of Dune. Children of Dune is fantastic.
Oh wow, I haven't seen those. Okay.
Yeah, they're
I had
really,
no
really
idea
good.
any of these. Like, I just know of the new Dune that just came out and the one that they're working on now. But
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back and actually watch these.
It's a trilogy, right? It is a trilogy, right? Is it gonna?
So, well, you mean for the books or
The new one? No, I mean the new movies are going to be a trilogy.
If they do,
or is it two of them?
There would only be two, because they're only like halfway through the first book right now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Okay.
So unless they do a third movie that's kind of Children of Dune, then they might do that. But right now, they're on pace for just doing 2 movies.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that 80s one is weird. It is weird. It's out there.
But if you can see Shai Hulud, the name of the sandworm.
Oh yeah.
So I have a Dune tattoo.
I need to, now I really need to go back and watch these, because, I mean, like I said, I don't know about with the whole blood pouring out of the heart bit. That part I might just
don't watch
it. But the rest of it, I think I need to go check out.
It's good.
I will just say one thing: train theme or tube train. I don't know what it's exactly called, but yeah, when you get there, that's when you're just like, oh, this is weird. This is super weird stuff.
I think it's cool they make the sounds and it like does all the different things. They basically use the voice to control different things.
Yeah,
they're able to battle just using their vocals, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I think the movie isn't bad. I think it's just the time it was made is what makes it bad. You know what I mean? Like if they just couldn't do what they wanted to do with it. Yeah.
And I will say the Sci-Fi Channel miniseries follows the books a lot more closely. At least the first part of the miniseries, the Dune part, it follows the books much more closely, because there are parts in the original movie that, like, Baron Harkonnen has all these pustules all over his body, and that's not in the book. That's not a thing. Like, and so there are different things, like just little things like that I'm like, but
things like that where it's like the book is like off, and you're just like, and when it's off by a little bit, you're just like, just go with what the book says. Go with what the book says. If it's like drastically off, you're just like, what were you doing? Did you even read it? Like, that's what happened. I used to think Ender's Game was an amazing movie, and then my aunt was just like, read the book. read the book,
Mm-hmm.
read the book. And then finally I read it and I was just like, I hate this movie. I
will never watch that movie or read that book just for that reason. I love the movie too much.
The movie before was amazing. I loved it. I
Yeah.
truly enjoyed every second of it. But the moment I read that book, I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't watch it again. It was just so bad. But speaking of things that I need to watch and actually see, correct me if I'm wrong. You did Schmodown, right?
Yes.
What was that like? Because I have never seen a single thing of Schmodown.
So
what was that like? Getting into it, all of the experiences with that. How was that for you?
It was a lot of fun, and it was also a lot of work. So but at the same time that I was studying for Schmodown, I was also studying for Dragon Con Star Wars trivia. And
Yeah.
they're
Okay.
very different. So Schmodown trivia goes behind the scenes. So I was having to learn every minor character's actor name and like just bizarre behind the scenes things. Whereas with Dragon Con Star Wars trivia, I had to know everything in all the canon literature,
Yeah.
including the comic books. And I'm talking like one
Right.
shot comics. I mean, it was everything short stories, novels, comics. It was
Oh my God.
anything canon was in Dragon Con Star Wars trivia. Like they've released the test online the past couple of years, and the year that I won, the first year I won, it was digital because of COVID. And so the test was released beforehand, and people were like, what is this? Like, this is ridiculous. So I had experience with studying for something that was absolutely asinine already. And I already had like a giant spreadsheet Excel file that had multiple tabs for each, like, except for my Dragon Con trivia tabs were, you know, ancient history, Clone Wars. Like it was
Sure.
time periods because Dragon Con trivia was in universe. Whereas with Schmodown, you had to know quotes from specific movies and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So those tabs were by movie. And I made digital flashcards with all of those questions. And I mean, I had over 1,000 questions, like tons and tons and tons. And I studied all the time. And so
Yeah.
that was a huge time suck, but it was a lot of fun because I wasn't really being challenged in my job at the time. And I was like, I need a challenge in my life, and this is the challenge that will do it for me. And it was also really fun just to get to know a lot of unique people, a lot of different people I never would have gotten to know before. And the smack talking was super fun. Like smack talking with Gold Leader was the best. Uh,
Right.
with Evan, yeah, like smack talking with him was so much fun. And then I went into Schmodown. My goal was to take down Alex Damon because
Right.
we had been I had like gotten so close for several years at Dragon Con to beating him. And then I was like, I really want to do Schmodown and I want to play Alex and I want to beat the crap out of him. And I ended up winning that 2020 Dragon Con trivia again. I beat Alex and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I was like, but I still want to take him one on one. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually did. My very last match was against Alex, and it was the hardest match I ever played. The questions were insane, and even Alex was like, "What is this?" And we were just laughing so hard because they were
I'm
ridiculous
telling you.
questions.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I really do. But watching the trivia, just the showdown, I was just like, I could never remember this. Like, there's no way I could remember. I mean, the one question that always sticks out of my mind, I know it's not the craziest one, but the one that sticks out of my mind always is the ticket that they get on Can't Bite.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were
That
going
is
to
the
say that.
craziest question to ask. Like,
I knew exactly what you were about to say.
like it's so
Oh my
like
God.
dude, you have no idea. Watching the Star Wars matches, like I'll tell you what, if you ever want to watch like a great Star Wars match, watch the Whitworth Knapsack Marathon match. This is one of the craziest matches, man. But like Damon, like she said, Gold Leader. I mean, there were so many great competitors in the Star Wars division that it just became like you had to know down to like what shoes they were wearing. I mean, it was really getting to that point. It was ridiculous. It was insane. The
Yeah.
questions they were asking and
I
some
was
of
gonna
them.
say, what do you think the most bizarre question you've been asked
Sure.
in any of these trivia? Like literally just like the one that made you really go, what?
I can't there's one that stands out, but I can't remember what the exact question was. But it was asking about like an adjunct of some military officer, and that was in my last match, the match with Alex, and we were both like, who?
Is this like a
what?
person?
Yeah.
You're like, this is real?
Yeah, it was really bizarre, but I won that match, so I did get
You
to
did.
defeat
Yes, you did.
Alex one-on-one, so that was amazing. But yeah, that question. Actually, there was a bar trivia Star Wars question that blew my mind.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was, if you add together the ages of Rey, Kylo Ren, Darth Maul, and Jar Jar Binks, what is their age?
Oh Lord.
And I
I
was
mean, I
like,
kind of know three of them, but I don't know Jar Jar's age, so I have no idea. Yeah.
so
That's
I
a
think
weird question.
it was bizarre.
That's
And
like lore and math on the fly that you're just like, what do the numbers mean, Mason?
Yeah.
I do have one question actually about the Schmodown in general.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you didn't get to play that you would have liked to played?
I think oh, I mean, a few come to mind.
Okay.
I would have loved to play Laura Kelly just because she was so
Yeah.
like she was such a good heel, and I
Hmm.
I feel like I could have fed off of that really well, and
Hmm.
that could have been a lot of fun. Um Playing Nikki would have been fun just to redeem myself for losing against Gold Leader.
Sure. I always thought the one person, for me at least, I think that could have gave Dan Murrell and Roka and all them a run for their money, and I don't mean just in Star Wars, but just in general in the Schmodown. I think if Rachel Cushing would have stayed with it, I think she would have destroyed all of them. I think she would have destroyed all of them. She knew everything. It was insane how great she was at Schmodown. It really was.
She was actually, part of my faction, basically, like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
usual suspects. So that was pretty cool. She was really a great person.
She was always one of my favorites to watch.
Person.
I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so like that when she did the Galadriel entrance that one year, I think it was season 5. I think that was when they were when she did that entrance, I was like, oh yeah, she gets it, and a lot of people did. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I just always liked watching her because she was always so nervous. It seemed like, but she knew everything. Like, she always knew the answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was just,
Yeah.
she kind of reminded me of a Merle type, just that type of person that knew everything, but wasn't. I don't know. But yeah, I always like Rachel. She was always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So
One
how
thing
long
that I
were
do
you?
wish. Oh, go ahead.
No. Continue.
One thing that I do wish when I got
Mhm.
my nickname, I was like, "Are
What was
you
your nickname?
serious? Marvelous
Yeah.
Marie?" I was like, but because
How
I
did
get
that
being
happen? Like, did you guys
fiery.
get to sit down with Christian and actually have those conversations, or were they just kind of like he would throw things at you and be like, "This is you now," or like, how did
He
that work?
just Sam just told me what it was, and I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, that's not what I was expecting, but okay." Because
Did it at least grow on you?
I mean, yeah, but it made me a baby face, and I
Hmm.
really
Hmm.
wanted to be a heel, like really badly. I just
Oh.
wanted to come at it and be all like in your face and like I'm gonna beat you and just like get super into that whole like wrestling rage kind of thing.
Yes.
But I couldn't because my name was Marvelous Marie. So
Well,
You
come
didn't
join
feel
the
like you had
Titans.
the
We have a Titans of the Turf over here on the channel, and you can be a heel on our channel for sure. You can absolutely talk crap to everybody. Tell them
you could
all.
be the best heel in the world ever seen.
Absolutely. No, it's awesome because that's another thing that I absolutely loved. I mean, I remember catching it. Actually, I think the first thing I ever watched from the Showdown was the JTE trial, and I had no idea what was going on. Like, I'm like, what is going on now? Like, this is
That's
hilarious because
that's how I feel
I
like
watched them at that point. Yeah,
that's how I feel like when he described like he tells me about this stuff and I'm like, what? They did what?
dude,
Is
you have no idea.
all
It's
the
some of the
casting,
funnest
the
stuff you'll ever
trivia,
watch,
and I'm
though.
just like, what does that mean? But then again, I'm like, and then we have Titans of the Turf, and I explain that, and people are like, what? What are you talking about?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, look, Christian had a great idea. Unfortunately, I think some, and again, I don't know I don't know anything like that, but it just seems like things just kind of got out of hand, not out of hand, but just out of his control. So,
Yeah.
and it just kind of, but it was fun while it lasted. It really was, man. It was one of the
How
best
long were you
things
with?
out there to watch.
Yeah.
How
Oh
long were
yeah,
you actually with the Schmodown?
Just the 2 seasons.
2 seasons.
Because I didn't
the last 2 seasons.
get the last 2 seasons because and
Hmm.
Alex is the one who made sure that I was a part of it. So it was all thanks to Alex, like saying you need to do this and then putting
Hmm.
in a good word to Christian for me and like I he he was very supportive of me doing it and I am very thankful for him for that.
Well, he brought a lot of the Dragon Con people in, right? Didn't he bring a
Well,
lot of them,
Thomas
or at
Harper.
least mention? Right, right, yeah,
Yeah.
See, I need to do my.
yeah.
I need to watch all these things. Like I need to watch the Schmodown for sure, just because it does sound so interesting, but I've been just so wrapped up with so many other things that I'm like I feel like to truly understand the Schmodown, you need to sit down and watch at least a few of them in a row to be like, what is
Yeah,
happening?
Yeah. It was so much fun though.
definitely.
I loved it and like it really got me into the whole podcasting thing, which has been an absolute joy. Um so that I mean that's a really great plus of it.
Well, how has that
And
journey been so far?
oh, I've loved it. Just and I don't because Taco kind of took a step back with some things like I don't have
Yeah.
a co-hosted Star Wars show anymore, but I have my Star Wars show, which is just,
Hmm.
not live or anything, but it's still like and it's only my longest episode that's not a special episode, I think is like maybe 17 minutes. So they're
Mhm.
all very short episodes,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
that's been so much fun. And then guesting on other people's podcasts is I'm doing right now. Like I love
Mhm.
doing it. I love just talking to people and making
Yeah,
friends with people that I wouldn't be able to, be around otherwise. So
I
it's pretty
completely agree.
awesome.
I got into this because of Don, and we were just, we worked together, and
Sorry, everybody.
he just, let me know about the channel and everything, and I was just like, of course I'd love to do this. And so, I mean, I've been doing this with them, and it's not been long, but I've enjoyed every single second of it. Like you said, it's a great community. I've been introduced to so many amazing people along the way. Like, I would have never have met you. I would have never met Taco. I've never met Jamie or John or any of them. Like, it's just absolutely crazy, all the people I've met, and like the connections and friends and what I've
Yeah.
learned too. Like, so
Yeah.
I can only imagine, especially you've been a part of so many like bigger things like the Schmodown and the cons that you've gone to
Yeah.
for all these things, the Dragon Cons, like that's huge.
And another thing that I've done a lot of, not so much recently just because I'm in school now and so I'm dealing with all school stuff. My brain is not as Star Warsy as it should be because of that. But I have done many different panels at cons, and that
Oh,
is
wow.
so
Okay.
much fun. Like, I've done panels at Dragon Con, and
Yeah.
I've gone to Chattacon and Magic City Con. Um, where else have I? Oh, Confusion and a number of different places. But of course, obviously, the biggest one is Dragon Con. But actually
Yeah.
being on a panel where you're sitting up on, and the way it started was I did Dragon Con Star Wars trivia, and the first Dragon Con I ever went to in 2018, I got in the top 10. So you take a written test, and then the top 10 who do well on the written test get to go to the live competition. So I was in the top 10, and I was like, I don't even know what's happening here. Like, this is awesome. I didn't study or anything. I just took a trivia test. And so they put me up. All 10 of us got up on the stage at the Star Wars panel room, and I was like, ooh, this is kind of cool. Like, sitting up here in front of all these people talking Star Wars, like I'm an authority. Like, this is awesome. I like this. And so after that, I decided to start a blog, and that's when I started my starsreview.blogspot.com, which has so many reviews on it by now. I haven't done anything with it in a year just because school started, but
Mhm.
I couldn't keep up with reading that quickly. But I started the blog, and then I was like, okay, trying to get myself out there, get on podcasts, like do this kind of networking thing in the
Yeah,
Star Wars world. And it led me to actually get on panels. And it was so cool being up there on the stage, being the Star Wars authority for the audience was just,
I was gonna say that's gotta be amazing.
it's the best feeling. It is so great.
Have you, being a part of these cons, have you ever had the privilege to meet any, famous people or anyone of any kind of in the world of either Star Wars or any kind of nerdy lore?
So, I authors are my main thing. I
Ooh.
love authors. So Timothy Zahn was the guest host
No
at
way.
Chattacon, and he's amazing. He's
Oh
so
man.
nice and so friendly. And I went to his panel, and I was sitting on the front row, and it was a smaller panel, so he just kind of sat out in front, and we were all real close to each other and just like having a conversation, and he was telling us all these crazy stories, and it was amazing. And then I've
Man,
met,
yeah, that's the guy I would love to meet. Yeah,
yeah, he's worth the meet for sure.
yeah,
Then E.K. Johnston, so another Star Wars author. She has been to Dragon Con.
yeah.
Um, oh gosh, I'm having a
She
I'm
was a.
having
She
a
was. Oh, wait a minute. Which one did she wrote?
Ahsoka
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Right. Yeah.
and Queen
I was
Shadow,
thinking.
Queen's Peril, Queen's Hope.
Gotcha. Yeah. The Padme one, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So that was really awesome. She's great.
Yeah.
And then the other author that I wanted to mention that I've met at Dragon Con is the author of Lost Stars and Bloodline, and I am drawing a blank.
Yeah.
What are they?
She's famous too,
Right?
though, right? It's no. Wait a minute.
What did they
What's it
write?
the same person? I don't.
Lost
Lost Stars
Stars.
and
Claudia
Bloodline.
Gray.
Okay.
Claudia
Yes,
Gray.
Claudia. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she's been to
I
Dragon
don't
Con.
understand how Lost Stars is not a movie or show yet. That is such a great story.
It's so good.
That Lost Star, I'm
It's
telling
so
you, I
good.
I listened to that book in like 2 days, man. I do audio, I do Audible, but I listened to that book in like 2 days. It's so good. It really is
Yeah.
great.
So
And then not Star Wars, Jonathan Rhys
Mhm.
Davies.
Oh,
So
that's a cool one.
yeah, he was at Confusion, and I waited in line to get his autograph, and I was gonna get his autograph on my Sliders DVD set. And I walked up to him.
Nobody knows about Sliders. Nobody knows that show. Oh, I love that show, man.
It's
Yeah.
so good. And I walk up to him with my Sliders DVD pack, and he goes, "Oh, a Sliders fan."
So
And I
fun.
was like, "Yes." And he signed it,
Yeah.
Maximilian Arturo.
oh my god, that's
Do
awesome.
you know why I love that show so much? Because I was a huge, huge Quantum Leap fan. And that show sort of kind of reminded me of, just that sort of time travel s type. I
Yeah,
love that show, man. I love that
yeah.
show. Gimli's in it. How do you know Gimli's in it, man? Like, come on, come on, man. It's one of the best shows. It really is a great show.
I freaking love it. It's absolutely one
Hmm.
of my all-time favorites. I the episode with what I am currently doing, so I'm in school for public health, epidemiology specifically. And the episode the one of the episodes that I love dearly is the episode where they go to the alternate world where penicillin hasn't been discovered yet, and there's like
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
crazy virus, or not virus, well, it wouldn't be a virus, it would be a bacterial infection, but a crazy bacterial infection that's like going rampant, and they're serving food and the like sealed packages, and they
Hmm.
decontaminate you when you walk into a building and all this crazy stuff, and it's all because penicillin hasn't been discovered yet.
Yeah.
And I think that is so
Wow.
cool.
What show is this again?
Man. It's
Sliders.
called Sliders. Right? It's like a 90s, it's like a 90s, not even sitcom, but like a 90s, sci-fi show, man.
How
It
long
was
did
fun.
it go on
It was
for?
so much fun. Two
I want to
seasons,
say
three.
5
Oh, was it that
seasons,
long?
4 or 5. They're 4 or
Was it?
5.
It's been
Because
a while. Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched it. Yeah.
by the last season, Jerry O'Connell's not on it anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So it kind of
Yeah.
changes the
That was
whole
like his
tenor of
big thing
the
back then too.
yeah. But
No. Yeah. It
it's
definitely
so
does. Yeah.
they basically slide
Sorry.
to alternate worlds.
Okay.
That's what they do. So they go to different planes of Earth.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like a multiverse. Yeah, kind of like a multiverse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like it's like you're a multiverse kind of, but are there? So all right, so is it kind of like a multiverse where there's like different variations of the person who is going to places?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Oh, that too. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
okay, so things get
Yeah, they play a
weird.
lot with stuff in that show. Oh,
In one of the
Things get
yeah.
episodes,
It's,
weird.
so Jerry O'Connell's name is Quinn, and in one of the episodes, the Quinn is actually a female, and she knows
hmm
that he's her
hmm
double, and she doesn't say anything, and is trying to trick him into, like, I forget what exactly, probably getting access to his sliding device, but she like flirts with him and all this stuff, and then he realizes that that's me, and it's
hmm
there's one episode where dinosaurs never became extinct. There's one where Russia won the war. Like, I mean, it's everything, and
They
it
just
is
said.
so good.
So I feel like they just threw like darts at a dartboard, and we're like, all right, this week we're gonna go with Russians, war, one. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
all right, I gotta
Yeah, I think
check that.
there's actually there's like a 3 episode arc or 2 episode arc where the Nazis won, right? Wasn't that one of them where the Nazis won?
That
There was
I
some
thought that
weird
was
ones. Yeah, there was
Russia.
some. Is that what it was? It might have been. Yeah, like I said,
Yeah,
it's been forever since I've seen the show. So
because
yeah.
that's a two. I'm pretty sure that's a 2 episode arc.
Okay, maybe that's the
Yeah.
one I'm thinking of then. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there were some crazy ones, man. There were some, some insane ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely gotta
Um,
check these out because that sounds wild with the whole like multiverse theory, and on top of that, just running into different variations of me that aren't me but are
Yeah.
weird.
And then the best
mhm,
part
mhm,
is that there is another species, the Cro-Mags, and they eat humans. And they have
mhm.
like
Yep.
sharp, pointy teeth. Well, they eat human eyeballs, sorry, specifically human eyeballs. And they are basically they're Cro-Magnon man. Like, so the other species of Homo sapiens, not Homo sapiens, but the other
Mhm,
species that didn't quite make it, but on their homeworld, they made it instead of humans. So
mhm,
it's like this kind of weird, and they can slide. So they
Mm,
end up starting to try to take over all the different alternate
dimensions.
universes. It's so
yeah.
cool. It's so good.
Okay, you've got me intrigued for sure now.
Oh, dude, it's wild. It's a wild show.
I have one just
It
like
definitely is.
personal, like guilty pleasure question. What's the Star Wars knowledge as a Padawan seeking knowledge? What is the one piece of like lore that like really stuck out to you the most that you were like that kind of blew you away when you found out about
Okay, so I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but it's the one that I shout out all the time. So, and it is Pride Month. So I'm calling this one out because it has to do with that too. So,
Absolutely.
Dianoga. Dianoga, the trash
Mm,
compactor monster,
it? Uh-huh.
mhm,
they are sentient. They're not monsters.
mhm,
They are sentient, and they are a non-binary species.
Oh wow.
yeah.
So they can either be, well, I mean, so generally they're either male, female, or diangus,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of the non-binary, more fluid gender. So the Dianoga in the Death Star, her name, so she decided that she felt like a female, so she's female, and she is Ami is her name.
Mommy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I had no idea. That is a nice little tidbit of information right there.
Yeah, I love it. It's just so weird, and like in, I think it was Bad Batch, they portrayed a Dianoga as being this like crazy monster, and I was like, no, no, they're not monsters. Because when Ami pulled Luke down into the water of the trash compactor, she was trying to baptize him because she felt the force in him.
Oh, I
Oh,
didn't know that. Okay, I've never heard
Yeah.
that before. Okay,
Yeah.
huh.
So it was a spiritual thing for her. She wasn't trying to be malicious or anything. She
yeah.
was just
I honestly, for a second, I thought you were gonna say she was like she wanted him, like she was attracted to him. That's honestly what I thought you were gonna say for a second. I was like, oh wow. So I was like, oh shoot, I didn't know that either.
That's
No,
funny.
but honestly, I didn't know about the baptism. That is funny. That's
yeah.
a cool trivia. I didn't know that.
So the short story is in From a Certain Point of View, and if you haven't read the From a Certain Point of View books, I highly recommend them. And
Okay.
the short story is called The Baptist. I believe
Mhm.
that's what it's called. And so it's all about like Ami's journey from her home planet and then being captured and being taken to ending up on the Death Star. And she was stuck there. She couldn't leave, and like it was this big deal when the people came that were going to steal them away from their home planet, and they're all freaking out and they're like, "Oh my gosh," and they're trying to get away. Like they know what's happening because they're sentient.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I had no
Okay.
idea any of that.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
See,
that's
I'm
cool.
glad I asked that question. I was
Now,
like, I need to
we
know.
wouldn't. This wouldn't really be an interview, though. I gotta ask you. I gotta ask you because I know this is your favorite thing.
Oh no.
He's perfectly fine until he has to. He wants to
Like I
ask,
do, but I just love the story. Yeah, no, I
sir,
love the story of her because what I do know about her.
sir.
Yeah.
We didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, it
I'm sorry.
Literally, the moment you went to go ask your question, your video said no.
No, my question is really simple. Well, not simple, but I know sort of the basics of her story. And I know kind of, who she is. And I know, she worked for Vader. I know he was trying to create his own sort of army through her. But I guess my question with her is, why don't we have her yet? Why don't we have her in live
Who's
action?
her?
Why don't we have that story
Afra,
forefront?
sure.
Afro, Dr. Afro.
Yeah.
Yes, no, Dr. Afro, because
Because I was like,
it
you still
really
haven't
is just
said
what I
it.
know of her. Well, no, because just what I
What?
know of her, she's a really super interesting character. She has a lot of
Yeah.
ties to big names in Star Wars. So I'm just curious, why do you think we haven't got anything with her yet?
Honestly, I think her story, everything that happens to her is
Hmm.
intricately intertwined with her love life. And she
Oh,
is
okay,
a
okay.
flaming lesbian.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and so I think that unfortunately that's possibly an issue because she has a freaking action figure. Like, how does
Hmm.
she have an
Hmm.
action figure and she hasn't she should have been in Book of Boba Fett. Like, I don't understand.
Do you
And
think
Yes.
they're potentially going to
Well, why
bring her?
wasn't she the doctor that we see in Mandalorian either? Like she could have been the doctor in the Mandalorian
well, she's an
that we
archaeologist
get.
though.
Oh, that's. Oh no, you are right. You are right. Oh wow. Yep. No, you're right.
But
I mean,
That's right. She
still,
is an
she could have
archaeologist.
shown up like who knows?
Hmm.
Maybe on Tython, when there's lots of
Yeah.
ancient places on Tython, she could have been, looking for artifacts and stuff. Like there are places where she could have popped
Mm.
up, and I
do you think
don't.
we still can
Oh
get her
yeah,
in?
I
Okay.
I think it's definitely possible. I just don't know.
Do you think the window's closing though?
I mean, she's still going strong in her comics, so
Hmm.
she's still
Well,
out there. Um,
I have a question
I
actually then, because you know her very well. So is she still around when Luke is doing what he's doing after Jedi?
I don't I'm a little behind on the comics, but from what I know, the comics aren't there yet.
Okay. I'm just
They're
thinking if
like,
he's looking for artifacts, she would be the perfect person for him to go to and be like, "Hey, what do you know about this?"
yeah,
Like, wait, why does
And
everyone say
why do
you?
you know my dad? Yeah, no,
yeah,
I think there's ways they could use her in different ways.
absolutely,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. And she's
yeah, I think
so
you're right though.
intertwined. And I think because the thing is, like a lot of the twists that happen in her story, it's oh crap, this person that I would have to meet for this specific thing to happen happens to be my ex. And like that's a
Mm,
very common thing that happens to her is she runs into
okay,
her exes. So and they're all women. So it's one of those things where I
sure,
don't know if they're, ready to
man.
because the other
I just,
thing is
yeah.
if they if they put her like Black Chrysanthemum was pretty much a blink and you miss it kind of thing. Like he was
Hmm.
barely in it. But if
Hmm.
they did that to Dr. Afra and she was barely in something, people would lose their minds. They'd be
Yeah,
like, why wasn't there more of her? We need more of her. And so I think they have to
yeah.
really balance that carefully. They can't just give us a little bit. They have to go all in.
Give us an Indiana Jones spinoff series with her.
Yeah,
Give it to us. I'll take that all day. I would take that all day long.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be fun. No, I do know a little bit about her story. I do know, that she was working with Vader in different ways to, help him. So I just always wondered why that's never been tied in, even in like Clone Wars or Rebels or anything, like why that was never really touched on, because she was there. I mean, there's no doubt she was there and around.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
It's unfortunate, but
Well,
it is. No, it
maybe.
is.
I mean, she
Yeah,
has,
hopefully Disney gets rid of it one day.
yeah,
Some-
she was in that Vader run. She has two
Mhm,
runs of her own comic series. And then she was
mhm,
in a short story in From a Certain Point of View. And she was in the audio drama, which was a brilliant audio drama. The whole audio drama though was like focused on her love for Sana. So it was very
mhm.
intertwined with her romantic history. So I think that's just it's such a big part of her character, so I think that's probably definitely the issue.
Because I do remember now that you said it, that she's an archaeologist, but I know there was a tie with her and Vader as far as like trying to create clones or trying to create some kind of army or something he was doing with
She's
her
good with
behind the
tech.
scenes. What? Okay,
So
okay.
she's good with tech. Yeah.
So what was she doing for Vader specifically then at that
For
time?
so she if I remember correctly, I did it have something to do with the Geonosians?
See, I didn't read the comics. Yeah, like I said, I didn't read the
Okay.
comics.
Okay.
I've only watched like YouTube videos about the comics really. So again, I don't know the whole story. That's why
I
yeah.
think
So
it was something with battle droids and Geonosians and
okay.
like the Geonosian I think. It's been so long since I've read that run because that
Yeah,
was several years
sure.
ago. But she's good with droids. So any type of army that had to do with
Why
battle
don't she make him a
droids.
new suit then? She should have made him a new
Yeah,
suit.
yeah. And
No,
her
that's fun
two
though. That
yeah, her two droids are some of the best. Like BT1 and 000 are absolutely insane
I
droids.
feel like I've heard BT1 before.
He's probably
I've
thinking
heard 000 for sure.
BT1
Yeah.
because isn't the droid from
Survivor. Yeah. Jedi
Jedi
Fallen
Fallen
Order and
Order?
all that. It's
Yeah,
BB1. Yeah.
But
Okay.
the T one
Gotcha.
is
Yeah.
an astromech who is a torture droid. And then 000 is a protocol droid who's a torture droid. Like, you
Oh,
should
Lord.
just look
Yeah.
up 000 and you'll see these images with his hands splayed out with like all kinds of weird gadgets coming from his hands that are torture devices.
Yeah.
Like, he's so creepy. And actually, thinking about ways to incorporate her, when the Rise of Skywalker trailer came out and they showed C3PO's eyes go red, I was like, holy crap. He got the 000 matrix downloaded into him. I just knew that's what was going to happen. And it didn't. And I was
I
like, that would
gotcha.
have been so cool.
You're like, this is the perfect,
I gotcha.
perfect time.
That's funny. That is true. Yeah.
So,
No, just what I do know about the character. I've always been very intrigued by the character. Like I said, I'm just not a big comic book person in general. As far as reading them, I like to keep up with them like through YouTube and the videos and stuff, but I don't really read them. So, um, but yeah, I always wondered why they never tried to incorporate her in a different way or somewhere else.
yeah.
Because I know she's loved. I mean, she is a very beloved character by the fan
Oh,
base.
yeah.
So
Absolutely. And she's
yeah,
funny. And the thing is, like, yes, she's dastardly and does horrible things, but her heart is so, so, so big. And if she loves you, she loves you hard. And I think
gotcha.
that makes her a really incredibly deep character, because she's not just this like wacky, unchained, you know, like bad guy. She's a very loving and caring person. Like, when at the end of her first run of her series, um she sends Magna Tolvin, her ex, who she used a Boar gullet like organism creature to wipe her mind. And she sent Velada, who's a little girl that she had basically adopted, and her father. She sent the three of them to Hoth to be with the rebels so they would be safe. And she was with
Mhm.
Vader, and she tricked Vader into thinking the rebel base was in a different location than Hoth.
Wow.
And she gave up being with the people she loved, those three people. She gave up being with the people she loved to save them. And she left this long message explaining everything, and like, I'm doing this because I'm a bad person and I just hurt people and I can't hurt y'all anymore. And she left. And it
Wow.
was like, wow.
Yeah,
So she's a very deep character.
Holy crap.
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, I've told Jason that this many times. I love that they're doing it, but at the same time, it upsets me that they're doing it when they add these characters into these storylines that we already know, because we don't ever get to see it. Like now, we'll never get to see those moments. You know,
Yeah.
like I still think the most badass thing we could have ever seen is Ahsoka and Luke walking into that throne room with Vader and Palpatine, man. Like if those two would have walked in that room, that would have been a whole different scene. It
I look like this.
would
My
have
face
been
is like this because I've
amazing.
heard this so many fucking
Oh,
times from him.
it makes me
I think I
so
hear
angry
it
because
every time
Ahsoka
we
is
are on the
top two,
streets
like
now.
top three for me. Like
Every
it's
single time.
Boba, Luke, and
This
Ahsoka.
is the
That's
scene
my
that was
three
wrong.
top characters.
Every
I
single
just can't
Yeah.
time.
get past the fact that she was alive, she was around, and they never met before that. Like it makes me so angry. But
It's
I
pretty
digress.
crazy. Yeah.
But I
But
mean,
no, that is fun though. That is fun that she was there and at least was a part of that story. That is cool. That's very cool.
And yeah, Afra actually even knew that Padme was pregnant. I mean, that Padme's She knew everybody knew Padme was pregnant. She knew
Right.
that Padme's child had survived,
Oh.
but she
And she never told
only.
Vader.
So I forget exact. Yeah, she like, and she was torturing. So it was a mortician, and he said like something about a boy being born, and she was like she just kind of gave up on him and was like, okay, he told me what I needed to know right before he said anything about a girl. And so she knew about
Wow.
Luke, but she didn't know about Leia. And it was
Gotcha.
such an interesting storyline. But of course, Boba Fett's the one that tells Darth Vader that Luke Skywalker exists.
Hmm.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
man, that is one of the ultimate comic book visual spreads, is when Vader finds out that the kid's name is
Yes.
Skywalker, and he just clenches his fist and the glass breaks. Like,
I know
oh,
exactly
that
what you're
is
talking about.
so
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
But she knew a lot. She knew a lot of things.
It seems like she knew a
Well, one of
lot
my
of the
favorites.
Do what?
She knew a lot of the inner workings of
Yeah.
everything. Like,
Oh yeah. And it was funny. She thought that she knew this big secret that Vader was trying to take down Palpatine. And finally, when she tells Palpatine that Vader was trying to take him down, Palpatine's like, and he's a Sith.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Right.
He was like, I don't care. Like,
he's
I
like, this
hoped
is
that
how
he was
this
doing
works.
that. That's like what he's supposed to be doing. It was so
Yeah.
funny.
Lord of the Sith, he literally tells him that. He's like, why aren't you trying to kill me right now? I'm the
Yeah.
weakest I've ever been. You're so weak because you won't try to kill me right now. Yeah, Palpatine literally tells Vader that to his face. He's like, you're the weakest weakest Padawan I've ever had. Like, you're so weak, you won't even try to kill me when I'm at my weakest. Yeah, oh no, he does. It's crazy, dude.
Oh my
Dude,
god!
that is one of my favorite books. Yeah, dude, Lord of the Sith is a great book. It's a really great book.
All right,
The
this is my
only
Yeah.
the only thing I don't the only issue I have with that book is the fight with the bugs. That
Yeah,
lasts
I know
for
what you're
like
talking about.
30 pages. And
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
y'all, like, I get it. They're fighting these giant bugs. Like, can we just move on?
right.
But the
I just,
rest
I
of it is
just
great.
want that. Yeah, I just want that quarry scene fight in
That,
live action at some point. Like,
yeah,
because the way it's described in the book of like Vader being this blur that just moves around killing people on different levels of this quarry and
yeah.
Palpatine and just the way it's described, dude, I just want to see it so bad, like in live action, because it seems like the most insane thing Vader's ever done, at least that we've seen, And we
Yeah.
know he's done more, but it's just insane. But yeah. It's like
I have
literally just like that part of the book. No, dude, like it's like literally that part of the book. It's like the Twi'leks like shooting down onto Vader, like they're stuck in the bottom of the quarry, and then all of a sudden they're just like, no, he's behind you. Oh no, he's over there. Oh no, he's like they're just like, yelling at each other, like he's just destroying them. It's so crazy. It's
I
a
have one
it's a
last
great book.
for me.
Okay.
Okay.
What if you had to recommend whatever 3 arcs to read, comics or books? What would it be?
Okay. My favorite book, and this is a middle grade book, so it's an easy one. Pirate's Price. Pirate's Price
I don't
is
know
a
that
book
one.
about Hondo Ohnaka, and it is so good. Like, you
I
can
love Hondo.
hear when you read the Hondo lines, it sounds like Hondo. You're doing the Hondo voice in your head. Like, it is so good. And it goes past, like, it goes into the sequel trilogy timeline, because Hondo has control of the Millennium Falcon for a little while, and he uses it in a
Hmm.
courier service. Like, Chewbacca lets him do it. it's an agreement, but so it goes into the sequel trilogy a little bit. It was part of the journey to one of the sequel trilogy movies. I can't remember which one, but
Okay.
it's really good. Pirate's Price is excellent. And another one, there's so many. Oh, hold on. Let me do a quick. I have to double check. So there's one. Here we go. What book? So there's a High Republic book with Jordana Sparkburn, Sylvester Yarrow, and the book is called Out of the Shadows.
Out of the Shadow.
I think I've read. Is that the one where where the Padawan and the Master go to the beacon, or is that the Attack on the Ship one? Because I've read two of the High Republic books.
So Out of the Shadows is a young adult novel.
Okay.
And it has to do with it's been, again, a long time since I've read it. But Sylvester Yarrow is the daughter of a ship, she doesn't know her mom's past, and she discovers her mom's past towards the end, and it ends up being a little bit nefarious, but I won't give it all away. But
Sure.
she was on a planet to begin with where there was a deputy, kind of like a Wild West kind of sheriff situation, and like a marshal. And the marshal ended up being this girl that was her ex, and then they have this crazy, insane love story. And it is just absolutely, it's such a good book. But like the intrigue and the mystery and all that stuff is absolutely fantastic. So.
And what about your? Oh, I believe his cellular device has just died.
And then I think my next. Oh, I know. So it's from a TV show. And it is going to be the Tusken Raider part of Book of Boba Fett. That is some of the best freaking TV that has ever been put out. I love it. I love it. And I will stand up on a soapbox and preach about those parts of Book of Boba Fett. It is so good.
Okay.
I definitely can get behind that last one for sure. I just seeing it in the show, I can only imagine what it is like actually reading about it and seeing those, like what has happened to him throughout that. So 3 great recommendations right there. Don, you got any other questions for me?
No, man. I think this was good, man. I really enjoyed it. We enjoyed having you on, Marie, for sure.
Yes, thank you so much. This has been absolutely great.
Oh, it was awesome. Our pleasure. I mean, Marie, why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at Alia Morgaine, and most of what I do on Twitter is freak out about crazy, terrible anti-queer legislation that gets put out. But I also...
Let's not get started on that. We live in a place where it's
it's awful.
We live in Florida, so yeah. We know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, Alabama tries its best to, match that. So,
I can imagine. Yeah.
So, I do a lot of that, but it's where you can find updates for my channel on YouTube, Afra's Artifacts, where I talk about queer characters, queer romances in Star Wars. Sometimes I get into species that are non-binary species. There are a couple others besides Dianoga. And I do every now and then I do a reality check episode where I get into the certain laws and bills that are up for being passed that are anti-queer. So I try to keep it all on brand, on theme with the queerness, but but I do leak out into the real world a little bit just because that's also important. So
Of course.
Sure.
I mean, Don, we already know where we can find you, but maybe you should tell the people.
Don't look for me. Nah, I wouldn't look for me. It's a bad follow. No, you guys can find me on Twitter at Jedi Master Tuck. You guys can find me here on the channel pretty much on any of the shows we have. Please check out Titans of the Turf. Check out Queries from the Multiverse, Jedi Academy, everything we got going on, guys. We really have a lot of fun over here. We talk about anything Star Wars, anything geekdom, anything like that. So, yeah. What about you, man?
Well, as always, I am Padawan Frito on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all of the above. You can find me on Gaming in the Multiverse on Thursdays, Jedi Academy, and like he said, stay tuned for Titans of the Turf Season 2 because we are in the midst of working on that and we are looking for potentially one more spot before we have a full roster of potentially 10 teams. And it's going to be epic. It's going to be absolutely insane. So please stay tuned for that, guys. But as always, this has been the Multiverse of Geekdom. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell. We're here for you guys. But as always, great night.
bye.
Bye, guys.